Can you believe it? Do you guys know where we are?
The silos.
The silos. Did you guys hear that Mommy and Daddy finally bought this place? This is the largest fixer-upper we've ever considered by 10. Mommy and Daddy, we want to try to keep these and figure out how to make this part of downtown.
We are super excited about getting started on the silos. Ultimately, that's going to turn into our design offices and some retail space. We're doing some foundation work, framing out new windows. I've got painters priming all the exteriors. So it's moving along smoothly, but we've still got a long way to go.
All right, here she blows. I don't think that the Cowboy Stadium required as much concrete as we've poured over here at the silo project. Yeah, here we come.
The silos are really coming together. Everything's just really starting to take shape, and I can't wait to call that place my office.
Every chance we get between other projects, we're over here working on the silos. So far, we fixed the foundation, established a new floor plan by adding those new windows and the doors, and we just installed that railing for the rooftop and the deck.
Right there.
The project is looking beautiful. We're so proud of this thing. I mean, everything Joe hoped for is starting to kind of materialize right before our eyes.
Perfect. That's the first piece of furniture in here. It's kind of a big deal.
And I mean, I'm like a kid in a candy store.
This is like a 100-year-old piece. Isn't this awesome? Right there. Perfect. It's crazy to think that here in a month or so, there's gonna be customers in here, there's gonna be product, it's gonna be buzzing. Right over here, guys. Right there. Awesome. I feel like I'm in a dream right now, and I'm pinching myself.
This is the biggest fixer-upper of our career. Are you guys ready to check it out? All right, let's go.
The Downs home is over 100 years old, so I wanted to create a very classic design that didn't take away from the original character, but also blend that with some modern touches. Over here in the dining room, this is the grand room to me. I mean, we have this really large chandelier. I like to do light fixtures that make a statement, and I really feel like this light fixture is bold, pairs well with this beautiful table that Clint made. But another thing we did is just play off all the natural light that comes in. We added a really cool window seat to just make function more in the space. They wanted more seating in here, so that was just a natural way to add it. Now onto the kitchen. They like the idea of blue cabinets, so we did lower cabinets that are blue. There's still a really classic way about this kitchen. We have the subway tile that they wanted, the really beautiful Carrara marble, and then he got his stainless farm sink, which is something that he really wanted. I think this kitchen is fun because there's a lot of mix and match going on. You've got a mix of metals, you've got some brass, you've got some stainless. We also did a really fun play on color, so I feel like when you see this kitchen, it's just packed with character. A fun design element that we incorporated in this modern project were these really simple boxes. What I feel like makes this modern is it's very clean line, it's simple, it's pretty raw, and what I like about it is just the balance of it with the plaster behind it. You can really incorporate this look anywhere, whether it be the living room in this space, for instance, or a kid's bedroom, a playroom. You can think through this on a lot of different levels, even a mudroom, great for storage, but it also can highlight any of your favorite art pieces, your favorite books, so it really can go a long way. What's great about it for any space that you've got, whether you're modern, traditional, or rustic, you can change the idea of these boxes. Keep the concept the same, but change it whether you use reclaimed wood, slatted wood. What's great about this entire concept is you don't have to spend $1,500 on a piece of furniture. This all costs about $150, and it's unique. And as time goes on, you can add to it, take away, modify it. But I think it's interesting enough to really set the space apart. The kitchen is the heart of the home and often serves many purposes for a young family. When designing this kitchen for the Fergusons, I wanted to create a space that was both beautiful and functional for the day-to-day. When you walk into the kitchen, your children, and so I really wanted to create a nice flow in here. I wanted to design 2 cabinets in the kitchen that are almost like a hutch. She collects really pretty dishes, and I know with anyone that collects dishes, they want to display them, so I wanted to incorporate that in the kitchen design, and I think this is really elegant, it's pretty, it's simple, but her china and her dishes still really pop. You know, I think a lot of people get scared at the idea of mixing metals in the kitchen, so just have fun with it. It's really finding pieces you love and implementing them in your home. My client really wanted a beachy, kind of coastal vibe, and I really was having a hard time with what I was gonna put on this wall. This wall is a bigger wall, this couch is a bigger couch, and so no matter what, everywhere I looked, there wasn't a piece that I loved. You know, the challenge for me was what I had in my mind, I just couldn't find. No matter what store I went to, as much as I searched up and down, I couldn't find what was in my head. So I just thought, scratch that, let's make something else that will work for this space. When I went to the antique store with Chip, we found these really cool antique pieces of coral. I love them, but they still weren't substantial enough to go over the couch. So in this case, I had these shiplap frames built, but you can easily go to any store, buy some old frames or new frames, or build your own. But what I love about this is now you've created your own artwork. You know, it started as a challenge, ended as something that now I really look at this and I love it. I think it makes a statement in here, and it's definitely a one-of-a-kind piece for my clients. This project was a flip house that Chip and I worked on and we just completed. And this little study nook is one of my favorite rooms in this house. I think what I really love about it is the idea that this was once just a storage room that had no purpose other than storing boxes, shutting the door, and kind of hiding the mess. What I love about it now is that we've lightened it up. We painted the floors. We actually accentuated the vault. So the current vault that's here was already here because this was attic space. So what I wanted to do was just add a little more character in here, add this shiplap that we ended up staining and distressing, and then we added all these built-ins. Work with the outline that you have, create unique built-ins, and if you have a vault, think of ways that you can accentuate and highlight the cool things about the space. When designing with the coastal theme for the Ermoyan project, I didn't want to go too literal with it. So I used simple, thoughtful details to tie it all together and keep the design relaxed and calming, not overwhelming. I really love how quaint and cozy it is in here. The color on the walls I decided to use was a lighter blue-gray tone, but it still has that fresh, clean way about it. When you're trying to carry on a theme, you can keep it subtle. We have the sand and these really cool hurricane jars. Fun little glass things with seashells. My client loves shells. The lamps with the rope, but also this driftwood that we found here in Waco. It's stuff like this that I think even though we're in Texas, you can still have what you want. Let's check out the master bathroom. I really like this bathroom because it's not overbearing. There's a lot of texture going on and a lot of dimension, but it's not too much. I love these fun pendant lights that we chose, these rotating mirrors. We use a really light palette in here, softer gray on the floor. One of the things I love the most in this bathroom is this new shower that we got for our clients. We've got this really cool basket weave on the wall, and then we have these fun pebbles on the floor. We've made the shower twice as big, but with this glass and all this texture, I just really feel like it makes a huge statement in this bathroom. When designing the Ridley home, I wanted to make sure it felt like a guy's place without it being too dark and heavy. So here in the master bedroom, I just really love how simple and clean it is in here. This room is just a really good blend of texture, wood, and metal elements, but I also just love that the trim is darker than the wall, so it really kind of does a play on color. It has that masculine feel in here, but it's not too heavy, where it still feels pretty light and airy. You know, this headboard was really simple to make. We basically had our welder who did these really cool sliding doors make this headboard so it tied in. We've got 2 of these doors that lead into the walk-in closet and the master bathroom. You know, I just really love the texture and the blend that this brings to the rest of this room. I feel like it gives it that masculine touch. And here in the master bathroom, you'll see that carried in here as well. I love these concrete countertops. We did this double vanity. Even though the space is limited, we still did these really cool wall mount faucets. But one of my favorite things in here is this wall mounted shelf with the wood. So it really, again, it brings that balance to this darker tile, these harsher elements. I think the wood really tones all that down. It also gives really good practical storage for my client. This project was a really fun one for me. I really feel like this is the ultimate bachelor pad. There's a really good blend of simple elements mixed with modern and that ranch style that I know he really liked. When designing the living room for the Ferguson family, I created the open concept that they asked for and made distinctive cosmetic updates to the room so it matched their style and their needs. So originally in the space, there were really thin columns and then just some white railing, and I really wanted to beef the columns up, make them more substantial, a little more formal. So we removed the railing altogether to really open up the space and then trimmed out the existing columns. This originally was a set of French doors that led out to the sunroom. Now we've created this double-sided fireplace, put some really pretty quartzite here, and then did a really pretty trim around it to make it have clean but pretty elegant look. Over here with the stairs, they had the dated railing, so we removed the existing railing. We just came back with a really clean, simple railing, but I just think the blend of the white, the natural, really pretty wood, mixed with the gray trim, it ties in now to the updates of the house. Originally in the Zan house, the kitchen was partially a breakfast nook and closed off to the rest of the house. It just wasn't practical for my client. So we opened it up, gave them a bigger, more inviting kitchen, but also put some thoughtful details into the design to make it more functional. I tell people when they're designing their kitchen, they don't have to give up function over form. It's really a blend of both, really thinking practically through your space and how you need it to work for you, but also making sure you incorporate elements that you really love and that are true to your style. I love open concept kitchens. What I like about this space is that it's really a U-shaped kitchen. So you've got your sink here, you turn around, you've got your stove. I really wanted to think through the layout for my clients. When I'm designing a kitchen, I like to design it around the stove. I really like the rock backsplash because it's subtle, but it gives off a lot of texture. The vent hood is cool, it's a stucco vent hood. One of the things that really illustrates the idea of form and function is the idea of this pot pillar. I love to incorporate these in all my clients' homes. This shotgun house was honestly one of our favorite projects to work on. There were a ton of challenges. This house was 700 square feet, very tiny space. And even though the footprint of the house is still the same, it feels so much bigger now that we've opened up the space, removed the walls. The ceilings go over 20 feet tall. Right when you walk in, you see this amazing oversized fan. You also see all these really pretty wood windows that start at the floor that go all the way up, so it has a really dramatic look. There's so many unique things to take in. I think that's why we really love this project. Let's go check out the kitchen. In here, we've got a really tight space to work with, but I really wanted to maximize as much of the square footage as we could. There really wasn't any room for a dining table in this space, so I had to think through every design element in the kitchen. I wanted to incorporate this oversized island, so you had plenty of bar seats here so they could eat here in the kitchen. Now you've got this kitchen, you've got this amazing living space over here, but it's all open. One of my favorite things to do is set a table. With a centerpiece like this, I think the simplicity of it goes a long way. I've got about 9 vases on the table. Each vase was $5 to $7 a piece. I already owned these, and this is something I just always keep, as the seasons change, you can change what you put in them. In this case, we went outside, we cut some greenery from the lawn, literally one single leaf that goes in. I think it's the pop of green that really makes a statement here, but my point is you don't have to be a florist to create something like this. And as the seasons change, you can still use that same idea of going out in the front yard. You can even get clippings, for instance, for Christmas, you can get Christmas tree clippings, you can get clippings from your tree, your bushes. No matter what, you can always change this out. Just keeping it simple, but also just celebrating the current season that you're in. This is a really great example of how you don't have to spend a ton of money, but how something as simple as this can make a huge statement for your dinner party.
Guys, it's a special episode of Fixer Upper. You're not gonna wanna miss this. We've got bloopers, outtakes.
Crazy chip moments, embarrassing chip moments, but also a look back at some of our favorite houses. Stay tuned, you're not gonna wanna miss this. I really think one of the most important things about a home is the first impression, the curb appeal. In this case, we had a really long, dated ranch-style house. So the challenge was updating this house, but also drawing it out so it didn't seem just like a really long house. So a few of the things I played with was the landscape. I really wanted to give it a fresh, pop of color, but I also wanted to keep it simple for the client. I used a variety of grasses, but I also chose this little rock pathway, which obviously is very low maintenance, but it also adds texture to the landscape that I think really makes it pop. One of my favorite things we did on this porch was really draw it out. And one of the things I really wanted to do was really beef up these columns. So we added a rock skirt, this great concrete ledge, and then these really pretty cedar posts. The key is that your eye goes to the center of the house, which is the porch. And I think all these elements really brought this home alive. You know, I really think it added a substantial amount of curb appeal, and I really feel like now this house is set apart.